What would you say to someone who wants to have a complete method to invest in the best stocks, someone who hesitates to join the program?
Anyone who hesitates really is probably thinking about the time commitment and the cost. And the way I look at it is, if you are able to improve your returns and your odds, even by a tiny percentage year over year, the time commitment and the cost will be paid off several times over. If you know that this is the right path for you, like investing, really owning your portfolio and like investing your own for yourself. If that's what you want to do, then I think it makes sense to invest in your education, being part of a program like this to really like accelerate your knowledge. The sooner you learn, the more you can apply this knowledge and really have this knowledge hardened, right, with practice.
What made you choose this coaching program instead of another one?
When I was looking for like a place to kind of deepen my knowledge, I was looking for two things. Does that person have the experience? Can they teach? I think you tick all of these boxes for me, so that's why I joined. With you, I've seen some of the videos that you had online, and it was clear that you're very thorough, you're very methodical, and you go in depth, and you have the knowledge and experience as well. So this is a really good investment in my education. I'm really happy.
Now, a tricky question for you. Do you regret your decision of joining this coaching program after our call?
No, I wish I joined this program sooner. I wish there was some, especially 2021, 2022.
Hi, everybody. I'm here with George, one of my students in the coaching program. And today we're going to talk about what's inside the coaching program. What do we learn? So I'm here with a student, George, that has been with us for maybe 2 months now. So hi, George. How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing
Thanks
good.
for having me.
Thank you for being here. So why don't you introduce yourself to the audience, who you are, what kind of investor you are, and what were the struggles you had with investing before joining the program?
Yeah, for sure. So my name is George, and I've been investing for a few years. I've done a lot of different styles of investing, although I wouldn't really call it investing, but I've done a lot of trading. I've done a lot of just like random things. I wrote a trading bot. And eventually I landed on value investing, and I started listening to some podcasts that talked about it, started reading books, watching Buffett videos, and fell in love with sort of the approach. And one of the main struggles I had in that journey of value investing is really having sort of a systematic process. You know, it's one of those things where I hear a lot of things that are making sense independently, but I really was having a hard time putting everything together. And because of that, I had two problems. One, either I would make stupid mistakes and it wouldn't be clear until the market tells me this was a stupid mistake, and I would, learn from it. The lesson sometimes wasn't that clear, but it's just like, I know I did something wrong because maybe revenue is decreasing, maybe I went into a market that's easily disruptive. The other mistake really resulted of like an overcorrection from the first mistake. Is I would find an idea that I think it's good, but I wouldn't be confident enough to put enough money in it. So even though I would make money there, I wouldn't make enough to make a huge difference. So that was like, the two flavors of mistake I would be making, because I just felt like I didn't have sort of the complete picture of how to approach investing. So yeah, like joining your program is really where a lot of this kind of, came together. You have experience as a retail investor, you have experience as an analyst working in a value investing fund. And these are the things like, you're able to kind of tell me, oh, you're spending way too much time here. You don't need to be that, you don't need to be that detailed there. It's not that important. And that was important to me because I was just like, I would maybe spend hours and hours maybe on the wrong things, or things that aren't that meaningful to the investment thesis. So that's been very helpful.
Yeah, well, that's the goal. You wanted a complete method to organize your thoughts, have a clear process for your long-term investing. And I think you're succeeded. Now you've built your own watch list and you know how to do the analysis of a stock. The coaching program is also being part of a group. So we have calls every week, when we analyze stocks together. You can talk about the markets, what is happening right now. What did being in a group bring you as an investor for your learning experience?
Yeah, I loved hearing other people's thoughts and ideas on whatever we're discussing. Like, I think we were analyzing Ferrari, and we had someone from Italy actually, and we were talking about Ferrari and how great of a company it is, and obviously we have like this reputation of the company, but we had someone actually from Italy saying how big of a deal this company is in the country. So it was
Yep.
cool kind of to hear these kind of perspectives. That's one example. Another would be just questions either I know the answer to or I haven't thought about. It was kind of good to hear like sort of different perspectives, and yeah, a lot of times it became like a discussion. It's like, okay, what do we really think of this company? Or um, yeah, like how sure are we about the moat? Like, I think we all like have different personalities. Some people are a little bit more conservative than others,
Mm.
so it's good to hear like that part of the discussion as well. Yeah, so really enjoying the group calls there for
Yeah.
sure.
Everybody has its own level in the group, but yeah, I would say if somebody has a challenge right now with the stock, everybody can give a feedback and we can talk about it, share ideas. That's very fun, and we share ideas like this. I mean, someday we can analyze a company from Canada, so you will have an insight into it. You will have a better understanding of the culture, the long-term views, etc.
There are
Okay,
a lot of local companies there as well. Yeah, it's good to. Yeah, Constellation is the one maybe we should analyze at some point.
that's
A
the best
beautiful
one.
company.
That's the
Yeah,
best
yeah,
one. Did you read
beautiful.
the letters from
I
Constellation?
haven't, but I read about the company quite a bit. Like other people like dissecting the company and talking about the how well they do acquisitions and their secret sauce. And I think they took a lot of pages from Warren Buffett, like watching some old Buffett videos about how they think about merger and acquisition. I think they kind of like, I think they took a lot of lessons there and applied it to the software industry.
Yep.
Uh, Beautifully. Yeah. Yeah.
That's actually one of the best business in the world. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't find a second Constellation software. They are, I mean, right now they are actually quite big and still growing fast, still doing acquisitions beautifully, generating earnings, free cash flow. The only major problem I have with the stock is the valuation. Like
Yeah.
everybody knows it's a quality company, great management. Mark Leona is the best, but the price is high because everybody knows they are the best and they will continue to be the best for years. So the only drawback is the price, but the execution is almost perfect. I've read the
Yeah.
letters, and yeah, you really go deep into the culture of the business that is growing every year really fast, good execution, good management. I think they are fun to read, so you can have a good time. That's
Yeah.
that's one of the best business in Canada. I think in this year in 2024, during the annual meeting in Omaha, Warren Buffett said that he liked some opportunities in Canada. So maybe it's worth looking into Canadian business, small businesses in Canada that nobody wants for some reason. That could be a good hunting ground. I mean,
Yeah.
you are the expert over here, so that's good.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't go that far. I just live here.
you're, you're the expert now. You live in Canada. You're the expert of Canada. That's it. Okay. And yeah, what would you say to someone who is in your situation, like who wants to have a complete program, complete method to invest in the best stocks? What would you say to someone who hesitates to join the program?
the Anyone who hesitates really is probably thinking about the time commitment and the cost. And the way I look at it is, if you are able to improve your returns and your odds, even by a tiny percentage year over year, the time commitment and the cost uh, will be paid off, several times over. So I think, yeah, I really like. It's a mindset. Is really of like education is a big compounder. You learn something today. If you know that this is the right path for you, like investing, taking like really owning your portfolio and like investing your own for yourself. You're not, having another fund manage it for you. If that's what you want to do, then either part-time or full-time, then I think it makes sense to invest in your education. Just, reading books, watching videos, and being part of a program like this to really like accelerate your knowledge. Like a lot of times, like I don't know about other people, but a lot of times I would read a book and I was like, I have this question, and it would take me a long time to have an answer to this question. This is an opportunity cost as well. It's like if I can have an immediate answer to that question,
Mm.
that's time saved and I can go faster. So with you, I can do that. I can just like I'm reading something, I'm watching a video, maybe I'm stuck at a concept, and whether it's accounting, whether it's investing principle, we can pause and talk about it, and I can move forward faster. Like something, for example, is like, how do you think about foreign markets? Like I remember we had a discussion about that. That is something that has been a head scratcher for me for some time. And yeah, like we had a really good discussion about it. And not only do I have specific answers on countries, but also like a framework to think about foreign markets in general. So if there is maybe a change, 2 years from now, I would be able to apply that framework and think about, okay, well, here's how I approach foreign markets. Here's
Mm.
what to look for. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about foreign markets, and we concluded some things depending on the markets. It's a different game if you invest in the US or in Latin America, Brazil, China, Japan, India. That's different markets, so it's normal
Yeah.
to have a different business environment, so different stock environment also. And there are a lot of channels about finance, about stocks on YouTube. What made you choose this coaching program instead of another one?
Uh, I mean, mostly your experience as, like I mentioned earlier, is like your experience as a retail and also someone who worked in a fund. Um, there, there's differences there, and I think we talked about that. Is like a fund, you maybe go a little bit deeper and analyze more and so on. Uh, Retail, you become a bit more pragmatic. What I got from you, like, so when I was looking for like a place to kind of deepen my knowledge, I was looking for two things. Does that person have the experience? Can they teach that experience? And with you, I've seen some of the videos that you had online, and it was clear that like you're very thorough, you're very methodical, and you go in depth. And you have the knowledge and experience as well. So you've worked with a big fund in Europe. You've done your own investment as well, like as a retail investment. So you've done both, and you basically can tell me like, oh, this is, yeah, maybe big funds do this, but really like opportunity cost for you, this is not worth it. You can be a bit more pragmatic by doing that. So that's very helpful. Is like having that kind of like experience and knowledge, and also able to kind of communicate that clearly, which is so I'm really happy. I recommend people to check it out, and I think they can judge it by themselves easily by just watching some of the videos and being able to also look at your history as well, and it'll be kind of like clear, like if this is something that they're serious about, then I think it's worth considering for sure.
Yeah, that's the advantage of being small on YouTube, is that if you compare it to a big channel, maybe they will take a lot of students and don't spend a lot of time with you. But this is a tiny channel. We are a small number of students. So literally, we are here 24 hours every day here to work. So, I mean, that's good. I like it this way. I like being a small community of passionate investors that want to grow together. So right now we have 2 calls per week. And yeah, we spent a couple of hours together. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, also WhatsApp. I mean, we talked about on WhatsApp quite a bit, just like,
mm,
questions here and there. So that's been very helpful as well. Although I do prefer the videos, but yeah, every once in a while there's a question that's bugging me. It's like I can appreciate you are being approachable. So that's is very very good.
yeah, and
Yeah.
maybe you've discussed this before, but what are the main goals that you have achieved in 2 months of this coaching program? You are not done with the coaching program, but as of today, what goals did you achieve?
Man, the biggest thing for me is when I'm looking for companies and screening for them, I have sort of a framework to quickly eliminate the ones that wouldn't work for me. Like I used to spend a long time before I say this is a pass. And to be honest, like I wouldn't necessarily be able to label why it's a pass quickly enough or sometimes at all. Is like sometimes I would just say, no, my gut feeling is this is not right for me. Maybe I don't understand it enough, or maybe there is an opportunity, but I just don't get it. But now it's a lot more clear and I don't feel guilty about it. I feel like, okay, you know what? Outside of my circle of competence, done. Or revenue is decreasing, risk is too high with that. So things of that nature. So I can really like be very clear of why something is a pass and therefore will not waste my time on the wrong things. And then once something is attractive enough, I know what to look for. Like I used to like spend a lot of time staring at the annual report and just reading it slowly and just getting extremely bored, but just trying to push through.
Mm.
But and there's nothing wrong with reading annual reports, and I think for some companies you really want to dig deeper, but sometimes I jump there too early, and I think the right thing is to look at maybe look at it as a way to answer questions, for example, that you don't know. Uh, there are other things you can do before jumping into the annual report, because again, like every time every hour I'm spending on one company, I'm not spending on something else. So using my time efficiently is really a big one for me, and just having sort of a process that just makes sense for me.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all about opportunity cost. The time that you are wasting studying a bad company, a medium company, an average company, you could spend this time with a great company at a cheap price. So the goal is to go through a lot of businesses and say no, 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 no. Boop, this one, yes, and then you go deep. That's the that's the goal.
Yeah.
Okay, so for your process now, it's more clear for analyzing businesses and saying no to businesses a lot more quicker. And how would you say this method has impacted your style of investing, the way you invested compared to before?
Yeah, it's like I come from a sort of an engineering background, so a lot of I like processes, I like checklists, I like things to be like systematic and clear, and I really struggled with having something that's repeatable. Like that is okay. This is what I do. If I'm spending some time, let's say 4 hours on investing today, this is what I'm going to be doing. I didn't have that. I had a lot of like random, like jumping from one place to another randomly. Now I don't. That's not the case. Now there's very clear. There's a screening. There's time where I'm spending on screening, trying to find ideas. I know what to screen for and what to look for. There's a lot of process of quick elimination. Like I was just looking at a very interesting Swedish company, and I was just like looking quickly, and then I discovered all the financial reports are in, they're not in English. So it's like, okay, there's no way I'm going to analyze this company.
Yeah.
But so just a quick back, like this is a fun example, obviously, but this is just, there's no point there, and I can move on. And there is a bit of knowing when to go deep versus when to just quickly scan. Um, like uh, like I like to go like first understand what the company does very quickly, not necessarily jumping into annual reports. I like to then do some just overview on the financials now, and then once some of these like basic building blocks of a company is there, of like a successful company, then I can start looking at trying to understand the company at a deeper level, so I can see if there's a mispricing or not.
Mm.
So it is a lot more clear what the steps are, and they're very logical too. They're not just like random steps. Like they make very logical sense to me of why you want to go about it that way.
Yeah. And same
Yeah.
thing for valuation. I mean, for the last steps of the analysis, after you've
Yeah.
done the work financials, the way we see valuation is really simple. You have three things to check: boom, 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 and then you know if it's cheap, expensive, a good time to buy. So you are building a watch list of great companies. I mean, that's good. That's good. That's the way you
Yeah.
want to approach investing. For the long term, you have your favorite companies. You wait for a drop in price. and you buy at a good price. So that's investing is really simple if you think in this way.
Yeah.
Okay, now a tricky question for you. Do you regret your decision of joining this coaching program after our call?
No. I joined this program sooner. I wish there was some, especially 2021, 2022. Because that's the time I remember it was like there's a big detachment from reality and from
Mm.
fundamental. And there was a big, I remember, like, I don't understand. Things doesn't seem to make sense, but I don't know. It's like, I guess we're riding the wave, it felt like. Yeah, no, I definitely don't regret this at all. This is a really good investment in my education. And this is, I think anyone who's approaching investing should be thinking about being a long-term learner, like really try to learn as much as possible from different sources and different methods. And like I've read some really great books, but some of them, lacked. Maybe this is just the nature of being in a written format, but some of them lacked the pragmatic, uh, practical approach. Like there was like a lot of principles which were great and really, um, like I was already coming in I think was the right mindset of being a long-term investor. But how do you put this in practice? Uh, this is not very, I guess, like I don't see a lot of resources that talk about being very practical and what to do kind of on a daily basis and how to make this a practice. The same way, a lawyer has a practice or an accountant has a practice. How do you make this into like a sort of almost like a career, if you will? Like if you're doing it part time or full time, it doesn't matter. But how do you make this more systematic and organized? Yeah. So definitely, yeah, I don't think I will stop learning about this. This is a big enough it's a big enough well to keep drinking from, right? It's definitely a very interesting. Um,
What is
uh,
great
yeah,
is that you are a learning machine. So once you go into this investing world, you can always learn, always become better. And
yeah,
Warren Buffett is a better investor now than he was when he was 40 years old. He is
mhm,
improving decade after decade, and you will improve decade after decade. So you do the time commitment now, and then you can, based on these fundamentals, you can build your own financial journey. So that's great. That's
yeah,
one of the best discipline, because your body doesn't have any importance. It's not like in sports and your sport career that ends when you reach 40 years old, 35 years old. Now for investing, you just need one brain, and and that's it. Some
yeah.
memory, some brain, some checklist, and you're good to go. And you can only improve from there. So that's good.
Yeah, I think this field really attracts lifelong learners, very curious people, and you're learning a lot about the world. Like when
Mm.
I'm reading about a company, let's say in England or Sweden, and just maybe read a little bit about how they operate, what they do, the challenges. I'm learning about the country as well. Like I'm learning about the culture there, maybe a little bit different industries. So it's very interesting. Like it's very kind of you become more you broaden your knowledge in different ways you haven't maybe thought about before. Kind of
That's
like reading books, but you're reading the stories of companies.
from companies. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Investing is the best job of the world because you learn about everything, every
Mm.
topic. You can learn about things in Brazil, and then the home building industry in the US, and then
Mm.
you learn about coal mines, and then some tech companies in China, and you learn a little bit about everything, every company, every industry, every country. And if you want to go deeper, you can. So you become an expert of coal companies in the US for some reason. Mongolian coal companies that you you didn't know what that was like 2 weeks ago. You can have a lot of knowledge about everything, and that's good. Well, do you have something to add for the viewers that are interested in joining the coaching program? Some tips, or we can call it today?
Yeah, I mean, just one quick one, maybe it's a reiteration, is I think if you're considering this, think of a couple of things. Think of, okay, if you decide to do this for yourself, like invest your own portfolio, then just know that you want to compound your knowledge. And so the sooner you learn, the more you can apply this knowledge and really have this knowledge hardened, right, with practice. The And then if this is what you want, then you want to really look at two things. That person you're learning from, do they know what they're talking about? Do they have the experience? Have they been tested before in the market? Have they worked with people that really challenge them and help them grow? And look at the format. I think you tick all of these boxes for me, so that's why I joined. Yeah, I hope people enjoy their journey and just like I think the world would be better off if we have less speculators because it's honestly it's not a long-term
Mm.
sustainable way to build wealth. And so hopefully more people kind of like learn about investing and just have a bit more stability in their wealth.
Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Completely
yeah.
agree. If people learn how to invest properly for the long term, I guess the world will be a better place.
More sanity, maybe.
Mm.
Maybe people there will be less. Yeah, that is a interesting thought experiment. I don't know exactly what the world will look like. I'm just speculating here.
You just have to guess. That's our job. Guessing the future, guessing the forecast of
Guessing.
the
Yeah.
future. Okay, George, thank you very much for your time and for the kind words. And I talk to you tomorrow. We have our call tomorrow. So see you tomorrow. And bye bye to the YouTube audience.
All right. Thank you.